Hey guys, this is fortunately a band response, basically a band video, whatever you want to call it. So, wanted to show you the initial email that I got as soon as I ended stream back in my Tokyo trip when streamed on the platform Twitch.tv, and honestly, it was more of a casual streaming event for 30 days. I stream every single day in Tokyo, and that was it basically. Before that, I was prepping for it obviously, and I wasn't really streaming seriously, and I wasn't planning on streaming afterwards much, honestly. Maybe for a couple months. Like it's a casual thing, a very hobby type of thing for me. So the more serious thing for me was obviously more on as a viewer, basically. Before before the ban, I was actually a regular clipper on some other YouTube channels, and that was my thing all the time. And before that, was more of a stream manager of sorts, and I was doing that for like maybe about 4 months or so, and for one streamer, and another streamer before that for like about 6 months or so. So, but not the first streamer wasn't like I wasn't like super serious about it. It's more like testing waters. But anyways, from that, I'm more of a viewer than anything else on the platform, and I love streams, especially IRL streams, and more especially outdoor IRL streams. So that's a little background of myself. I'll get more back into the background on me if for people who give a stuff. I can't really curse on this platform, um, or else you just want to recommend it. So I'll just keep the cursing down as much as I can. If not, I'll just censor it, unfortunately. So this is the first email. As soon as I end the stream, and I got it like automatically. So they either like pinged it as like a ban and during the stream, and I don't think it was like a type of ban where they just end the stream. I don't think because it wasn't like I wasn't. It is not like a severe. I mean, they think it's severe, but I don't think it was enough for it to gonna switch it off. So like as soon as I ended it, it just automatically sent me an email. Like literally. So apparently, according to them, I was making violent threats. Uh, I could tell you honestly, like I wasn't making violent threats in my opinion, and the way I interpret what is a violent threat, and the way I thought they interpret violent threats, I didn't think it was like that. What I said. So on this stream specifically, when I did get the ban, it wasn't on that stream at all. From what I remember, it was at least like 10 to 15 days prior, where something could have been interpreted as a violent threat, but in my opinion, I don't think it is, and I didn't think at all like Twitch would see it that way as a violent threat. Hence why I was very careful all the time, as much as possible, because I tried to reverse engineer the TOS and how they enforce it as much as humanly possible. And obviously, certain circumstances, it's a little different because like no one gets banned on certain things, and like it's hard to interpret until someone gets banned on it, and then you can understand how Twitch interprets it, and how they want the community to interpret it. So let me show you. Let me show you the rest of the email. But basically, it was my first ever suspension. This one right here. So it became indefinite according to what they think is the level of severity. Um, they made it seem like it was a direct threat to specifically someone. I don't think it was. I'll explain it specifically what it is after show you the whole email. So if I sound a little nervous, I do apologize because like Twitch was a big deal in my life like for the last 2 years. Every day, uh, every single day, I watch Twitch for like the last 2 years. So getting indefinite ban is a big deal. So indefinite ban and due to suspension 30 days or longer, any subscriptions, blah 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 blah, and it'll be canceled. That's pretty much it. And you just say right here, read Twitch's guidelines to learn more. It's like basically treating me like I'm a complete idiot and like I don't know the Twitch guidelines or TOS at all, even though that's literally what I read every single week to like really master and understand it and try to reverse engineer their understanding of it. Because obviously they don't explain it in their TOS and their guidelines as thoroughly as they should. So the appeal, what I did is I sent the appeal, and basically what I responded to is, or I gave him like a response. Obviously, my first response, like obviously, it was a little bit more harsher and not as professional. Basically saying like, "Oh, let me tell you what I said actually on at least what I think, because they don't explain it in this email, obviously, or at all. Violent threats, and that's it. That's all they say. So that's an automated message basically. So what triggered the ban and what I think they interpreted as at least good enough reasoning is I said, oh, I was being heavily trolled, obviously, and I felt threatened by certain people in the chat. And the thing is that my chat, I didn't want like to be overly controlled and overly moderated and stuff like that. So I let it go to a certain point where obviously I got heated enough that I thought was okay to respond in a certain way, but obviously it wasn't okay. And I responded saying, because like I was going to TwitchCon and like they mentioned, people in the chat, the trolls in the chat mentioned a certain wording that triggered me to respond in a negative way, sort of, or more of a very self-defensive way, which in my opinion was okay at the time, and obviously maybe not now. It's still not sure, because like obviously Twitch is, they want to be extra careful, and they don't want people defending themselves on their property. Because I was talking about TwitchCon at the time, I'm going to TwitchCon, and yeah, and I told people in chat that I felt threatened from, like in general, not specific people. I didn't mention usernames. I didn't point out specific people. Like maybe I said, if you touch me at TwitchCon, I'm just gonna break your nose, as a self-defensive move, basically. And that's, I just felt, I felt threatened enough where I could say that, and as a self-defensive comment, it's general statement. In general, when I said like if anyone touches me at TwitchCon, this was like a conversation in chat for like maybe 20 minutes or so. So it was a general statement, and then people in the chat giving me specific threats towards me, and I didn't mention their usernames because I know if I mention their usernames, it will be a direct threat. So I didn't do that. So I thought it would be fine. And I said, if you touch me at TwitchCon, then you're gonna have a broken nose, stuff like that. That was what I remember. Unfortunately, Twitch would not show any evidence at all. They would not give me any details specifically, just making violent threats. That's all they say, just because they know if I get more details, I could get more support from the Twitch community, and they'll feel pressured to reversing or reducing the ban, and they don't want to do that. So this was my response, more thought out response after a day or two of being banned. Let me just read it, because I don't know if you can read it or not. After some time reflecting, I have realized my mistake in using harsh language and not being mature enough to avoid a situation in the chat. I am not trying to make any excuses for my behavior, and hope some kind or any kind of remorse outcome to this matter, like as professional as humanly possible. Because like I understand, like they want very mature people. So if you do get approached in a threatening way, and if someone touches you in a threatening way, and they actually assault you in person, from what I've interpreted from this situation, they don't want you to defend yourself. And from what I've seen, so like they would expect you to run away from the situation, as even like literally run away from the situation, even if it makes you look bad from running away, and anything like the mature thing, obviously they don't expect you to run away from the situation as much as humanly possible. And this is the absolute only option, because you have to defend yourself in certain situations. But from what I've learned in life, if anyone touches me, I have the legal right in the United States to defend myself, and they don't agree with that. From what I've interpreted with this ban and this situation. Now, the second part of this is in reference to when I said of the lines of "I will break anyone's nose if they touched me," and this is the inferred information that I don't know if they actually cared of the inferred information that's in between the lines. Inferred as in a threatening matter towards me. So like, it's obvious if anyone touched me in a threatening way. Like it's obvious. So if anyone just touched me like that, it's not in a threatening way. So I'm not gonna break their nose because they're touching me. Let's move on. When confronted in self-defense, again, no excuse at all is warranted. I misunderstood the community guidelines where I could talk this way, even if legally I could defend myself. Twitch, I would assume, would prefer or will want me to be a mature adult and avoid the confrontation, then defend myself. So as I mentioned before, from what I've interpreted from this, that's what they prefer. And if that actually happened in person, if I actually got attacked on the property of the event that they're holding, they would probably ban both people, from what it sounds like permanently, no matter what. As I move on here, in which now I understand, again, I apologize for this deep misunderstanding. All I ask is some reduction to the indefinite suspended to my account, basically. I had never been banned before on Twitch. I am a supporter more than a streamer myself, and love supporting other streamers as an active chatter, bit user, subber to many communities on Twitch. Very active in the last 2 years. I have promoted Twitch on and off stream to recruit streamers and viewers. So like, it's obvious, like, I mean, you can see my history. If I have in the last 2 years, like constant as a viewer, I gave over $3,000 to a handful, maybe 2 handful of streamers of constant support through Twitch, not just through Streamlabs and donations. Mostly as through sub gifts, mostly through myself subbing, mostly through bits. So like, there's many people like are like in shock when I told them I've been permanently banned. It makes no sense at all. Alright, here's the appeal. Your account was suspended for threatening violence against another person. So they're giving me a tiny sliver of detail. It was one person that felt threatened enough where they thought it was directed towards them, and Twitch agreed, and that was enough to indefinitely ban me. I never ever said a specific user, so they must have thought when I said like the word "you" through my mouth, it was towards a specific person. When I was talking to a group of people in chat, it was towards chat, specifically as a thing in my hand. And it says right here, threaten another person with intent to harm or kill. This type of activity is not permitted on our services per our terms of service. Twitch terms of service, blah, blah, blah. Gives me a specific area on how to find the terms of service, like I don't know shit. Due to repeated or severe Twitch terms of service or community guidelines violations, your account is now indefinitely banned. We do not unsuspend accounts for this level of abuse. Apparently, they thought that specific line I said, I mean, I'm still assuming this because they didn't give me enough details, but this is the only thing I could think of that comes anywhere close to a violent threat. And is like very, very far-fetched in my opinion of what is a violent threat. So, yeah. I mean, there's some people think it's a violent threat, but in my opinion, I don't think it is. I'm giving like a self-defensive statement of what I would do in a hypothetical situation if anyone touches me in a violent way or threatening way. In person, it's anyone could defend themselves. Like, it's not legal to do that. It's not wrong to do that. And the thing is that from what I've interpreted, Twitch wants you to run away from a situation if you feel threatened. And that's the only way you should defend yourself, is running away. And I personally don't agree with that. And especially at a public event, when I specifically said TwitchCon, and that's where I should feel safe, but obviously I have a lot of certain trolls and haters that I feel are legitimately gonna hurt me in person when I go to TwitchCon. And right now, I don't know if I'm actually going into TwitchCon, but I'm gonna definitely be in the general area of San Diego during TwitchCon. If I'm not banned, either way, because I'm gonna hang out with friends, either or. All right. Now here is the logs, which is the only slither of evidence that I could show, unfortunately, if you consider that evidence of what was going on, since obviously videos and pictures are a lot better, but chat logs is the only thing I got. Obviously not native to Twitch because as the account is suspended, so this is all I got. So this is the first part that's relevant to the situation right here. And I'm showing you all the people on here because obviously context matters. And this was the context where I was talking about TwitchCon, and I'm going there, and I mentioned because I was feeling threatened, and for many people in the chat. And that's one of them. And let's see the other part. I mean, proper order. There. Obviously, these are all troll accounts except for my mod and this one right here. All these are like brand new accounts. I would assume this is a person, obvious, with using my name, and this is a brand new account, and I would assume this is a person who obviously submitted the report. It's pretty self-explanatory if you read it. Yeah. And if anyone's wondering and asking why we didn't ban them, it's because of like that was like obviously bringing up a lot of viewers and a lot of content, because like me just walking around showing what was going on, it wasn't really getting a lot of viewers. I mean, there was obviously a lot of haters before I went, and then when I was there, and then why just keep banning them? Like, I feel like I could just use them for content. And basically, here's the specific part. So it made it seem like I was talking to him, but I wasn't. I was clarifying at first. Anyone touched me at TwitchCon, I will break their nose. And then he said this in chat, and I clarified it to him specifically. If you touch me at TwitchCon, obviously inferred information there in a threatening way, legally, I have the right, in the United States at least, to defend myself and break your nose, which is a part of my self-defense. I have the right to do that. I'm not going to go up to him randomly or anyone specifically, and I wasn't targeting him at all. He was obviously trying to trigger me and trying to bait me into banning myself, basically. I'll show you here. It doesn't show it specifically right here because this is obviously him in many accounts. It's Little Weenie here, but he made another account when I banned him. He said racist stuff. I had to ban him. This is the same person. I'm like 98.99% sure. And I'll see you at TwitchCon Punk. So basically, that was a threat. I don't know if I saw it or not, but technically I should have at least banned him when I saw that, but I guess I didn't see it. And it looks like at that time, I don't know if I had any mods. But I was like, this is like only a screenshot of him right now. Alright, let's go back to the main. Some might overlap, unfortunately. And if I'm going too fast, just pause the video. Should be a lot faster.